Today we begin Paul's second letter to the Corinthians, and in light of the recent shootings that have taken place in the United States, these words are all the more poignant and important. Our verses for the day are from 2 Corinthians chapter 1, verses 3 and 4. Blessed be the God and Father of our Lord Jesus Christ, the Father of mercies, and the God of all consolation, who consoles us in all our affliction, so that we may be able to console those who are in any affliction with the consolation with which we ourselves are consoled by God. In Corinthians, Paul talks about how we are ambassadors of Christ. We are to be instruments of God's reconciliation. And here in 2 Corinthians, he begins by basically talking about the ministry of consolation and comfort, which we are called to as followers of Christ. We know that affliction and suffering and heartache are a part of every life, but then there's the suffering and the heartache that comes about because of evil and sin and wickedness. Some of that is caused by individuals, some of that is caused by systems, some of it is caused by nations afflicted upon other nations. And so Paul is beginning his letter giving thanks to God for Jesus Christ, that God is the Father of mercies and the God of all consolation. When your heart is aching, when you're grieving the loss of a loved one, when you look at the terrible things that happen in the world seemingly every day and you just want to throw your hands up in hopelessness and despair, Paul directs us back to the Father of mercies and the God of consolation, who consoles us in all our affliction. You know, so many people have an image of God that is inaccurate, certainly not biblical, where God is so harsh and angry and vengeful. And that's not how Paul describes God at all. And how comforting it is to know that God is the Father of mercies and a consoler for all of us when we need it most. And God consoles us so that we may console others, not simply so we can feel better ourselves. And so we are to share the consolation that we have received, the comfort that we've received with others, whether those we know or those at a distance. That's part of what we are to do. Empathy for other human beings is so needed in our country and in our world right now. And so much evil, so much wrong is done by those who have no empathy for other human beings, often simply because they're of a different race or from a different country or are part of a different political party. And it's shameful, and it's causing so much damage. We worship the Father of mercies and the God of consolation, which means we're called to be empathetic and compassionate and loving. And our country needs that very badly.